Okay. We're on time to start our meeting. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season or holiday weeks. I was on vacation for 2 weeks, so I have to say weeks. And this is actually my first time because last year I spent it traveling to Ethiopia. So I have my full 2 weeks this year. Okay, let's pledge with 701. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. At this time.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the little one is making noises. Let's take it away, LaShanne.
Thank you so much, Sergeant at Arms. Good evening, everyone. It's great to see everyone tonight. After a wonderful break, I hope everyone had a great Christmas, a wonderful New Year in 2022. Our club mission is we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Our values are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And as we move forward, I don't think that we have any guests. I encourage everyone to bring someone as a guest. We are always looking for new members and we love guests in general. As far as our club business, I know we have coming up, Mr. Greg.
So we have 2 contests this year, a humorous contest and an international speech contest. So our club needs to try to get that done before the end of February, because the area and the division or district of the president comes, those will be in March. We need to start thinking about when we want to have
Just to talk about it now.
So just be thinking about whether or not you are interested in participating in our humorous contest, as well as our international contest. Okay. We do have our officers meeting coming up, not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. We're going to move forward. Now I'm going to introduce to you our, yes, sir.
One other thing. The 15th of January, we have our Toastmaster Leadership Institute. We encourage every officer to participate in that. So we get 7 for 7 and win bucks.
Yes, and we do need to discuss, we do have some other business that I believe that we're hopefully going to discuss concerning officers' positions that may be open, but we'll discuss that in more detail in the next couple of, next week at our office meeting, yes. Okay, moving right along, I will now introduce to you our Toastmaster of the day, and that is none other than me. This year, I'm just excited about this year. When I woke up on New Year's Day, I slept the longest I have ever slept in a very long time. I'm like a 5 a.m. girl. I slept almost till 9 o'clock. And literally I stayed in the bed until like 12. Even after that, I decided this year that I am going to protect my joy. And that is find time for myself. I encourage each and every one of you this year, find ways to protect you. Protect the things that bring joy to your life, whether it be a spouse, whether it be children, whether it be your purpose. One thing that I find joy in is knowing my purpose and operating in my purpose. And I encourage you to find that joy. Balance the activities of your life. Quit procrastinating. Organize. Have everything settled. Be mindful. Have mindfulness. Know who you are in terms of what you can do. Stop wishing that things get better. Enjoy the moment. Live in the moment. Operate in the moment. Find joy and peace in the moment. And stop wishing that you were better. You are who God has created you to be. Enjoy it. Live it. And protect it. We are in for a great meeting tonight. We have two speakers, two wonderful speakers, a duel, father-son duel. I'm excited to see what happens tonight. The first up we have, for the first time, as our general evaluator, I'm excited to introduce, well, to present to you, Mr. Randy Riddle.
Good evening, Toastmasters, and our president, Ms. GOINS. I will be your general evaluator for today, and I would like to introduce my evaluation team. First up, we have our grammarian and word master, Mr. Alex Dahlstrom. Alex, will you tell us more about your role?
Thank you, Randy. Hey, folks, Happy New Year to you all. So my job for today as grammarian / word master is my duty to keep track of all the ums, ahs, filler words, and pieces of grammar that just do not work. Of course, I'm one of the most guilty folks of filler words and filling up blank space, so I will count myself in there too. And oh yeah, our word of the day is renaissance, which the definition I'm using for this week is the simple one, which is rebirth. I'm not talking about hear ye type of medieval stuff, but the idea is, with the theme of it being first meeting into 2022, think about a rebirth or revival. And I will keep track of how many people use the word and how many times. So with that in mind, looking forward to a great meeting. Back to you, Randy.
Thank you, Alex. Next, we have our timer for the day, which is Cheryl. Cheryl, will you tell us about your role?
Yes, I will. Thank you very much, Randy. I will be the timer for this evening. And so each prepared speech is 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5 minutes, you will see the green background. At 6 minutes, you will see the yellow background. And at 7 minutes, you will see the red background. And then you have a 30-second grace period. For the table topics, I will do the same thing. At 1 minute, you will see the green. 1.5 minutes, you'll see yellow. In 2 minutes, you'll see the red. Evaluators, you have 2 to 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, you will see the green. 2.5, you'll see the yellow. And 3 minutes, you'll see the red. So hopefully between my iPad that I'm keeping track of the timer and the colors, I will do it correctly. So that will be my job for this evening. Back to you, Randy.
Thank you. And lastly, for our evaluation team, we have our vote counter, which is none other than Mr. Greg Allen. Greg, will you come tell us about your role?
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. As Randy mentioned, I will be the the vote counter. So I will be collecting votes for the best speaker, best evaluator, and best table topics. For those of you who are joining us virtually, if you would text or message Bernie your votes, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you. Randy?
As LaShane said before she introduced me, I will be your general evaluator, which just means at the end of the meeting, I will go over how well the meeting went and evaluate everything except for the speakers because they each have their own personal evaluators. LaShane?
Right, and now it's time to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Bernie HOLLIDAY. He's coming from Pathways Presentation Mastery. It's a level 5 elective, leading in your volunteer organization. He will speak for 5 to 7 minutes. His speech title is Things Fall Apart. Bernie is a member of a photographer organization which nearly collapsed. But instead of quitting and moving on, he wanted to make sure it survived. Tonight, he will share how he helped them back from the brink. Bernie.
Thank you, LaShane. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. I, of course, am going to talk about my membership with an affiliate of PPA, my certificate in the wall that says I'm a certified professional photographer. I propose that I'm merely certified or certifiable, as the case may be. However, the PPA also has several affiliate organizations called, and the one in South Carolina is called PPSC, Professional Photographers of South Carolina. Now, I've been a member of like small groups before. I used to like role-playing a lot. And I had a role-playing group that was part of a national organization that all collaborated with each other. So you take your character and go anywhere with it. And I watched that group fall apart. Here recently, I was a member of a Spartanburg networking group. Network Spartanburg was great for me as I was trying to start to build my business and get myself started. But they didn't have enough people coming in, enough referrals coming in to keep their meetings going. And so late last year, they voted to fold. You have to recognize small groups like this, like ours, are sometimes hard to keep together. We need to recognize our leadership for doing such an awesome job. LaShane, Lee, for keeping us together as well as they do. But for PPSC, it wasn't so smooth. I joined PPSC early in the year when I was facing being let go from my job. I said it wasn't enough for me to be a member of this national organization. I also needed to network with local photographers. So I had local resources at the ready that I could talk to. And it provides me additional benefits too, because when I'm a member of the local group, whenever we have any kind of hands-on workshop or anything like that, I can go to the workshop in person. It's going to be close to me and I'm not going to have to pay anything for it. Win-win. Unfortunately, I was able to go to 2 of these workshops and 1 meetup before things went crazy. One of the factors in that was one of the people I met at that meetup, Jerry Finley, died of COVID. Kind of set things rolling downhill for the group. Everything got quiet for a while. There were no more events planned. Nothing ever came up to say, hey, we're doing this. Everything just went silent. And I can tell you right now that silence is death to a small group. Communication is absolutely vital. That's why we have to pay special attention to keeping our communications up. I was faced with a bit of a conundrum. Do I stop paying my monthly membership fees to PPSC, which is quite a bit more expensive than Toastmasters? Or do I try to see if I can bring them back? Find out what I can do. So the first thing I wanted to do in that case is actually reach out to someone, another person I had met in the local group to say, hey, what can I do? Which is also the first rule of networking, isn't it? When you first join a networking group, one of the first things you want to do is become a useful person to everyone in the group. That way they have a chance to get to know you, who you are, have a chance to work with you, and you provide yourself a value. So I reached out to one of the people who said that who wanted my help to begin with and said, hey, what's going on? She said, I would love to talk to you about it. I can't, and I just resigned. Okay, so who do I talk to? Well, you can talk to the president. So I emailed the president. I get a reply back from someone else saying, oh, I'm the president now because the president resigned. Okay, I knew they had a problem now. I see I'm spending a little too much time on my setup, so I'm going to speed things along a little bit. But what winds up happening is that I talked to them, found out that the president that was somewhat of a bad actor, did not like the group that was there, was not happy with the fact that he was not in total control and power of the group. So he basically set them up to fail. There were legal issues, there were communications issues, there were issues across the board. And instead of just sitting on my chookus and not doing anything, I decided I was going to try to help them create a renaissance of the PPSC. So what I've done now is I have joined several committees with them. We have near weekly meetings with each other. I have coordinated for their conference. I have arranged for a speaker for their conference that I'm very excited about. But I've also told them it is very, very important, and this was my big sticking point to helping out with this. It is very, very important that you approach the membership and tell them exactly what happened. This is what's happened. It is our fault. We apologize. Because I knew that I felt like I wasn't being talked to, like I wasn't an important part of the group. And I knew there must be other people who felt like they weren't an important part of the group because the group had allowed that to happen. So I don't know if it's totally successful, but I can tell you that what it looks like right now is much better what it looked like then. So I hope, beyond all hopes, that it works out as well as our Toastmasters group has worked for us. Thank you.
Excellent job, Bernie. You said several things that were so wonderful. Small groups are hard to keep together. But you also said silence is death to a group. But I believe that Toastmasters have really trained you to even go forth and help other groups. Wonderful job. At this time, timer, may we get 1 minute on the clock as we give Bernie some feedback?
Okay, 1 minute is up.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
And next up, our next speaker is presenting a speech for the 5 to 7 minute researching and presenting project in the persuasive influence path. Now that we have started the new year of 2022, the age-old debate of whether to make New Year's resolutions has surfaced once again. Following his research into this topic, our speaker will provide compelling reasons to establish your resolution in a speech titled New Year's Resolutions. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our club secretary treasurer, distinguished Toastmaster, and past international director, Mr. Lee Holiday.
Resolutions, just the word stirs people up. They're either for it or against it. Whether you are for or against it, I want to talk to you about some things I uncovered as I researched this topic called New Year's resolutions. Why? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, resolution, think about the word, to be resolved to do something. That's what a resolution is. To be committed to finish something. Sometimes that means to be committed to start something so you can finish that something. Resolutions are nothing more than goals. 6 reasons why you should have those goals, those resolutions in your life. First, because it is your responsibility. One of the things I used to tell my kids, and I think I can get an attestament to this fact, is that you need to set a goal. Even if you don't ultimately reach that goal, you need to be moving towards something. You need to have something that you're trying to accomplish. And if you decide as you're going down that path that the something you want to do is really over here, that's okay. It's okay to change your goal, but it's not okay to not have a goal. It is your responsibility to have a goal. Reason number 1, it's your responsibility. Reason number 2, is when you make a commitment to a goal, to a resolution, it becomes a statement of confidence, a statement of faith, if you will, faith in yourself, faith in others, faith in a higher power, whatever it might be. It is a statement of faith. I am going to do this. It goes back to the thing we hear about so often, John, self-talk. I'm going to talk myself into this. That's part of the reason to have a resolution. Number one, it's your responsibility. Number two, it's a statement of confidence. And the deal is, the bigger your goal, the bigger the confidence that it'll stir up in you as you talk yourself into doing that thing, that goal, accomplishing that task. Number three, have you ever seen a child running around with trying to do so many different things at one time, full of energy and not having an outlet for that energy? One of the things a goal or resolution will do for you is help you focus that energy into something productive. It will help you focus your energy. Put that energy into something purposeful. Number four, goals help keep you moving and to endure the challenges that might come along. If that goal, if that resolution is firmly enough set in you, no matter what happens, you will push through the challenge, you will push through the obstacle, you will push through those who might try to get in your way to accomplish what it is. It will help you overcome. It will help you keep moving. Number five, people will be watching you. And when they see you committed to accomplishing something, and it doesn't even really matter what that something is, but they see you committed to accomplishing something, they're going to think well of you. You're going to build your reputation in their eyes and in their minds. Finally, goal number 6. How many of you have ever taken on a goal, a challenge, an opportunity, and seen it through to the end? How many? How did you feel when that was done? It's a pretty good feeling, isn't it? In fact, that feeling is almost enough reward in itself to make it worth doing. In fact, not just almost, it is what makes it worth doing. Now, there may be financial compensation somewhere along the way, but to feel good about myself is one of the best feelings in all the world. So what are these goals? Why are these goals necessary? These resolutions necessary? It is your responsibility. It is your statement of confidence. It is a focus for your energy. It will keep you moving through the tough times. It will build your character, and you will ultimately reap the reward of it. Let me ask you 3 questions as I close. If you're discouraged today, will you set some new goals? What is something that you can do that will motivate and encourage you as you move toward your goal? Question 2, what one thing that you've learned about yourself as you've worked towards your goal? Any goal. Number 3, how do your goals reflect what you hope and expect? think about those three things. And my friends, set your goals, set your resolutions. It doesn't matter if it's January 1st or January 3rd or February 3rd, but set your goals, set your resolutions to achieve these responsibilities that you have. Madam Toastmaster.
Awesome job. You have prepared us for our new year and have motivated us to set these goals for these New Year resolutions. Madam Timer, may I get 1 minute on the clock? And let's give Mr. Lee Holiday some feedback. When I think about setting goals is a way to help me protect my joy, have excitement, that feel of accomplishing something is something that no one could really take away from you unless you make them take it away from you. At this time, go ahead and send your votes in if you have not done so.
Yes, 1 minute is up. I'm sorry.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Go ahead and send your votes in and let's vote for our best speaker. Oh, before that, let's get a timer's report. Sorry, timer.
You're muted, Cheryl.
You're muted.
I'm so sorry. Okay. Great job to both Bernie and Lee. Bernie spoke for 7 minutes and 15 seconds, and Lee spoke for 7 minutes and 37 seconds.
Thank you. All right. And next up, we will have our table topics. If we are ready, I would like to turn control of the meeting over to BEREKET TOLCHA. Take it away.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. I've been torn out between Toastmaster and Madam President. Okay, we're at the, I don't want to say the most interesting, but because evaluation will come after me, so. But one of the most interesting part of this the meeting, table topics. Considering New Year's, my questions, today's questions will be related to resolutions. And you heard from Lee that resolutions are necessary, or we have heard their importance, right? So actually, my first experience with setting a resolution happens last year. There was a lot of pressures from multiple directions, so I have to ask myself at some point, what am I good at? And what is most, or what advantage do I have against the pressures? And that teaches me something that I have to work on. So I did that. I'm good at learning new things. And getting certificates on my field is very advantageous. And I can pay it easy because I have cards. right? Using credit card is a little bit troublesome in Ethiopia. That's why I'm mentioning this. So with this, what is, or tell us about your last year resolution, or it can be a couple of years resolution that you kept. LASHANNE GOINS.
Thank you so much, Mr. Table Topics Master, for that wonderful question. The New Year's resolution that I've kept, what you want to know. Here's my issue. I don't keep New Year's resolutions. I haven't kept them in several years, so therefore I've never created them in several years. That's why I've just decided this year, I'm just going to protect my joy and peace and live in the moment. I'm sorry. You know, New Year's resolutions, I've come to the conclusion that if you want to accomplish a goal, if you want to reach the end of an assignment, you must make up your mind and make a decision to do it, and to do it then. Because you know what the truth is? Tomorrow is never promised to us. That's why it's important to be mindful of the moment, to seize the moment, live in the moment. I can't do New Year's resolutions because I just don't keep them. It's just, that's not the organization of my brain. Maybe next year I'll try, but I know it won't work. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Shen. Thank you for sharing that. Actually, protecting your joy should be a resolution, I would assume. Okay, moving on. The same question. Tell us about your last year's or couple of years back resolutions that you kept, and this goes to Greg.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. That is a great question. I'm kind of like LaShane. I don't really set New Year's resolutions. However, for the past 21 years, my company sets resolutions for me. Aren't they such a great company? And they do that in several ways. One, in my line of work, there's generally what is referred to as contract minimum. You have to sell a certain amount of proprietary business to meet a certain number, contract minimum, to keep your job. That's a pretty good resolution right there. And then they tack on a few nice things to that, okay? So if you not only keep your job, you keep your benefits, that's pretty good. So that's a nice reason to meet that resolution. And then they have some stretch resolutions. So if you can double your minimum production, you get a nice trip. Hawaii, Disney World, I think it was Boston this year. It's different places around the world. So that's a pretty good reason to hit that resolution. And then they have another resolution, which is about 4 times the minimum production. And this coming year, that is Bora Bora. Okay. Now that's a really hard resolution to meet. It's not my goal. As much as I'd love to go to Bora Bora, I'm going to settle on Disney World and meeting my, not the minimum number, because who wants to do just minimums, right? So my resolution's kind of in the middle of the road. 21 years, I'm still doing it. So I must be doing something right. So that's my New Year's resolution. Thank you, Mr. Tabletop Toastmaster.
Wow. Thank you, Greg. Thank you for sharing that. What a nice company. I'm jealous. It does. Okay, moving on. My last question. Tell us about your New Year's resolution or resolution experience in general. It can be an opinion, can be supporting setting New Year's resolution or against it. I would love to hear any side. And this question goes to Mr. John Abercrombie.
Thank you, Mr. Tabletop Toastmaster. First off, let's talk about the term New Year's resolution. My belief is if you can wait to make a resolution, you're not committed. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't make resolutions, and I don't like to call them resolutions. I call them commitments, and we do it on a fiscal year. 365 days, whatever that time period is. But if you make a commitment, you do it now. And it involves not only making the commitment, but making a plan. And on that plan, you must include how to get back on track when you get off. Otherwise, you're not committed. It is a commitment. We make too many of these things. We come up with a list of 10, 15 resolutions. There is no way. Narrow that list down. 1, 2, maybe if you're ambitious, but make a commitment, not a resolution. Mr. Tabletop Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Abercrombie. That's what I was looking for, actually, an opinion. Thank you so much for sharing that. At this time, I think I will go for a timers report, right? Sure, can you give us timers report?
Yes, I would be happy to. Very good questions, Bereket. Shane spoke for 1 minute, 30 seconds. Greg spoke for 1 minute, 52 seconds. And John Abercrombie spoke for 1 minute and 22 seconds. So good job, everyone.
Thank you, Cher. At this time, let's take a minute to send, maybe not a minute, but let's send our best table topics vote to, I think our vote counter is Greg, right? I hope so. So let's send our best table topics vote to Greg. And with this, I will turn the control to Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Bereket. For our speech evaluators today, we have two. Both are amazing speakers, and I personally believe they give wonderful feedback as well. For our first evaluator, we have Mr. John Abercrombie.
Fellow Toastmasters, no guests, but BURNNIE HOLLIDAY. We had a presentation that was a great presentation. I think that one of the things that we are looking at in terms of a transition is that as we move from the purely the virtual meeting into a live meeting, we have an audience. Now, Bernie did a great job of looking at individual members of the group. And that's something that I think we need to, that is a benefit from having our meetings in person. We also had a good, firm presentation. It was understandable, it was clear, and it certainly showed some of the benefits of being in Toastmasters, because it is a skill. And this is what we do here. We talk about and translate the skills that we learn into practical applications. And I think that's why this group is so strong. It's so bound, because we are all committed to those principles. Now, one of the things that may have come up and may have seemed like a small distraction was when Bernie said, "I'm behind schedule," or words to that effect. Now, that indicates that he is cognizant and aware of things that are taking place around him. He's not robotic in terms of having a prepared speech and not in it. He is a part of that presentation. Now, I would say that we need to practice what we're going to say in order that we don't get into that situation. But we all need to take clues. There are ways of speeding up, cutting out, and sometimes for those of us that like to speak, the biggest part of our problem is cutting out and knowing when to. Good relationship with the audience, somewhat lacking on the preparedness because of that, but well aware and able to finish within the time frame. If he had not been paying attention, he would not have been able to do that. There were gestures around. They could have been, in some points, a little bit more emphatic. But I think overall, we got the good, prepared presentation that we expect from Bernie. And I look forward to more from an excellent Toastmaster member. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abercrombie. And for our second evaluator, we have the beloved nemesis of John Abercrombie, John McKinney.
Oh, that guy.
Mr. January Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and Lee Holiday. Wow. Out of all the speeches I've heard from you, and I've heard probably maybe 1,001 speeches, 1,002 maybe, or 1,099, maybe, who knows? But that was one incredible speech. I absolutely loved it. Because why? It was on personal growth. I am a self-improvement junkie. In fact, a fellow Toastmaster interviewed me for his podcast called The 10 Questions with a Self-Improvement Junkie. And Lee, you actually gave me a quick fix in one of those little IVs on personal development. I absolutely loved it. I loved your energy in the speech. You were very energetic. You were very passionate, and you can see it in your body language. You can hear it in your voice. You can tell that you love personal development. You can tell that you love what you do when you give a speech. That was amazing. And the way you connected with the audience, you moved around. You didn't stay right behind the podium. You moved to one side of the room to the other side, even though the spaces a little bit limited, but you were able to work with that. You did a great job with that. If I were to give you something to grow on, when I was listening to your speech, you have great application and you ask some awesome questions. For each point, and it was hard for me to find something on you, it really was. For each point that you give, maybe give us something from your own personal experience on how, like, point 1, point 2, I think you had like 5 or 6 points. Give something from your own personal experience on each one of them. Either do that or give us a how. How would you do it? How would you do it? That would give us something, in my opinion, give me a little bit something, because I get, whenever I got my mind set on wanting to do something, I struggle with the how. I know the what and I know the why, but the how is how I struggle. So give us something on how we can do that. And it was just wonderful, Lee. And I love hearing you speak. And I look forward to hearing you speak again. And Lee, as always, continue to knock them out the park. Mr. January Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. McKinney. Again, we had 2 wonderful evaluations from both of our evaluators today. And now I would like to request a grammarian report from our word master of the day.
Oh, excuse me, do you need a timer's report on the evaluators?
Next. That comes next.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Awesome. Hi, folks. So just a few things. One is, I will say, when it comes to crutch words, we were almost perfect today. So give you guys a hand, especially during table topics. I was amazed that there weren't any bits of stammering at all. It was like you guys had no cards. Like, I swear, it's amazing. Then in terms of word usage, I only heard it twice by the 2 speakers, which with Bernie is officially in my word choice Hall of Fame because he used the word chungus too, which is absolutely awesome. And then Lee used Renaissance as well, I'm pretty sure. That's all I have. And there, I just use it forward. So back to you guys, timers report.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex. For the evaluators, both of you did a great job, both Johns. John Abercrombie spoke for 3 minutes, 19 seconds, and John McKinney spoke for 2 minutes and 52 seconds. So good job on both of you. I'll turn it back over to Toastmaster of the day.
No, general evaluator.
Oh, general evaluator. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Now we will send our votes, if you're on Zoom, to, I think we're sending them to Bernie, and in person, if we'll give our votes to Mr. Allen for the best evaluator. While we collect the votes, I will give my general evaluator report. We started on time as usual, thanks to Bereket. He has been amazingly punctual. And since I have started Toastmasters, I think I've been here close to 2 months. I don't know. I don't keep track of time well myself. Since I've joined Toastmasters, I've noticed that everyone, even if they don't quite get the feedback from the speech evaluator, they always take from other evaluations and improve themselves with that information as well. Whether it be eye contact or gestures, moving around the stage. I've even noticed after Greg moved the lectern the first time, there have been, if I recall correctly, 1 or 2 other people who have taken the initiative to move the lectern for their speeches in order to just change the environment, get attention from the audience, and give themselves a more comfortable, confident space. I believe that our president and Toastmaster of the day came in with great energy for introducing our theme as well as our speakers' introductions. Everyone had amazing eye contact throughout that I noticed. And like I said earlier, everyone seems to be taking advantage of the feedback that they hear from everyone else that they receive. The table topics by BEREKET, the introductions for the questions were great. I loved those. And for our evaluations for the speakers, wonderfully packed with energy as well, as they always are. Overall, I feel that the meetings are improving every time I come. I notice things that are different that we improve on, and I can't wait to see the other improvements that we get as we go. I will now turn it over to our Toastmaster of the day, Madam President.
What a meeting tonight. I think everyone should have gotten something positive out this meeting that they are able to take with them and glean from. Wow. Our theme tonight, protect your joy. How do we do that? Forgive. Give. Set goals. Be kind. Show love. Live in the moment and seek the good. Life is good. We can make it good, or we can make it dark and miserable. But in most cases, it is our choice. Tonight, we have had a special night. We have had wonderful speeches. We have had wonderful table topics and 2 great evaluators. And I'm excited to hear the results. One thing about us, we love to win, don't we? We love to win, and we take joy in losing. But that's how we protect our joy. We love to lose, we love to win around here, don't we, guys? Give yourselves a hand. At this time, we are going to find out who our wonderful winners are for our best speaker, our best table topics, and our best evaluator. And the person tonight that will introduce our best speaker, our best table topics, and our best evaluator is none other than Mr. Greg Allen.
For those of you at home, that was padding time. Padding time by LaShanne going. Padding time.
First off, our best evaluator this evening goes to none other than Mr. John Abercrombie. Best table topics, thank you everyone, goes to me. And finally, our best speaker this evening, Mr. Lee Holiday. There you go. And back to.
If y'all three can stand just right there for a minute. Don't stand in front of the sign. Get the sign. Come over here. Oh, okay. Sign. There you go. Stand, stare at the camera for a second. Come on, hang on a second. There you go. We're good. Thank you.
All right.
Congratulations. Congratulations to everyone. All right, at this time, as we wrap up our meeting, I encourage you to invite guests to our meeting.
May I add to that? Madam
Yes, yes, you may.
Hopefully, all of you know about the membership incentive. If you bring a guest, and that guest joins, pays their dues, you get $25. If they pay their dues again this summer, you will receive another $25. So there's your incentive to bring some guests.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Bring some guests. That's exciting. That's exciting. We will do our part in bringing guests. Okay. Are there any other announcements tonight?
I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank the committee that put together the holiday party, including Greg for the Tuckapaw Church. But that was a wonderful occasion to have, and I want to thank all of you for it.
Thank you so very much. Yes, we had a blast. I think we had a blast.
That was good chili and baked potato.
Sherry, your chili was good. Okay. If that's all, meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you all.